Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Now, we had one of the best weeks we've ever had last week on the channel, I would say. Pretty much every band we had on the channel last week was killer. Heavy as heck, all different genres. They all sounded great. And that's going to be the same this week as well, but we got different genres for you this week. Some that haven't even been on the show before, like math rock and post rock and all stuff like that. I've got some mathcore for you. I've got some experimental music and stuff like that as well. We got more punk and all the kind of usuals. And one thing that we cannot go a week without, and we're going to have some probably twice this week, I think, is some death metal. A lot of death on this channel. A lot of people who watch the channel like death. I like death. So there's a lot of death on the channel as a result. Now, all of these three bands that I've got for you today have all been on the channel before. So I know they're going to be great, and I know we're going to have a great and heavy day today. This is the heavy, fast, techie, blackened kind of death, you know, extreme metal. So we're going to kick it off with one band that we had on recently, but they're super nice, super heavy. Pretty sure they made it onto the monthly roundup as well. It's Phosgene back with us again. And I'm not even going to say the name of the track because it's in foreign. Asenios Occultos. I apologize for butchering the name as I always do with every foreign name. Here we go. I told you it was fast and heavy and brutal. I meant it. Yeah. Nice guitar tone. Proper crunchy, brutal, tight. Yeah. Mixing it up. Dissonant. Vocals heavy as hell, we knew that already. And I think this one might be even heavier and more brutal than the last track that we checked out, and that was pretty much 10 out of 10. Some dope mix-up riffs in this one as well. Dissonant kind of stuff and offbeat. Nice bit of bass. Yeah, these guys are heavy as hell. Go. You can hear all the elements of the mix very nicely. You can hear the bass in there grinding away. It's a different tone, very much different tone to the guitars, which is super thick. Got a great modern guitar tone, distortion to them. Super heavy vocals, vocal layering to make it even heavier, even wider. Drumming sick. Drums sit nicely in the mix, cymbals sit nicely in the mix. Double bass isn't too loud, so it doesn't take over everything. It's always blazing. It's got a nice slappiness to it. Still cuts through the guitars nicely. Some super low gutturals as backing vocal. They've mixed it up loads as well. Apologise for that. Done loads of mix-ups, dissonant parts, drawn it out a bit more, super fast parts, brutal chuggy parts. I mean, the whole thing's brutal. Heavy, weighty. Loads going on in the drums, all over the cymbals. Dope. If you ever gonna, if you ever want to just get blasted and you're like, I just need something right now that is heavy, fast, brutal, and it's just going to pummel me for the next 3 or 4 minutes, you whack on Phosgene, because that's what they're all about. That's what they do. There's no kind. These guys are just full throttle the whole time. They don't let off. They're just battering you down. It's like getting stampeded. And there's no end in sight. So yeah, dope band. Love it. Now this next guy, as I say, all these guys have been on the channel before, and this next guy, I asked him after he was on the channel before, because it was great music, loads to the music, very well produced and everything, and he goes by the name of Bryan Eckermann. I said, you a one-man band, is this all a one-man band? He's like, yeah. But he also does do kind of collaborations and stuff through the internet with the next band that we're going to have on as well, so they're all kind of mates and passing music about and stuff, so that's pretty cool. We like to see that. So this is Bryan Eckermann. He's got a track for us again. It's official lyric vid called Succubus. So let's check it out. Now this guy's hard and heavy and fast. Well, at least the last track was, but it's got more of a blackened edge to it over more of the brutal, like our Phosgene fellas. But let's see. Nice drum sound, good stereoizing on the drums, and then moving across your ears as he moves across the toms. Very nice, got a nice amount of reverb on him. Yeah. Good synths in there as well, you can hear this has got a blackened edge to it, a darkness to it. This one's a bit more drawn out than his last track was so far. I remember the last one was just full on blazing. Good thick guitar tone, we've got different things going on in each ear with the guitars. There's like more of an arpeggio sound going on over here, and then the chunkiness on the right. Both sounds good. This is more what I was expecting. Yeah, very black. Nice vocal. Working his throat. Remember, this is a one-man band. How many 5-man bands have you heard that sound like this as well? With this kind of good quality recording. We spent thousands of pounds at a studio to get it all recorded nicely. This guy's done it all himself. It sounds dope. Drums sit well in the mix, double bass sits well in the mix, because there's a lot of double bass in this music. If you're listening out now, you can hear the double bass, but it's not overtaking the mix, which it can. When you're doing the double bass that fast, you've got to pull back the volume of the bass drum compared to on the single hits. So otherwise, that's all you can hear. Yeah, great vocal stuff going on in this one as well. Nice atmospheric lead guitar. You can hear he's working his throat, rolling it round in his throat to get those sounds. Cool. Nice atmosphere to it as well. Blackened, darkened. Almost that kind of cathedral atmosphere to it. Dope. This one's really black. Yeah. Drums sound awesome. You can really hear him working his throat. sounds cool. To get that kind of curl to the whole sound, you've got to work your throat round. You've got to have your mouth nice and wide and then bring it in as they kind of come to the end as well. Very cool. Great energy in this music. It's a very nice mix of death and black. It sounds very black. Yeah, there's some pure black bands that sound pretty much like this. They just haven't got the speed and the tempo in the drums. This guy has got the speed and the tempo in the drums, but he's also got the chugginess of death, the riffage of death in there as well. So it's a very nice mix of black and death. And this is pure black and death. This is what the genre is all about. You've got the synth work in there as well to give it more atmosphere, widen it out, give it some of the guitars you can't give it. And it also brings in that blackness as well, that kind of cathedral sound to it. Dope. I like this guy, I like his band, I like his music. As I say, the next guy's up. I'm pretty sure they're all mates together and make this kind of music and collaborate and pass their kind of files across the internet, especially nowadays with the way things are. But there's never been a better time for that. No? If you're one of these kind of guys, and I do it myself, where you're in a band but the other guy's in a different country, or he's locked in his house now and you can't collaborate together in person. As long as you've got, the means to do it at home, you can do all the recording at home, send over the files, they mix them out, do their recording, send them back. You got a song. You haven't even left your bedroom, so that's dope. As I say, this is a band that he's been messing about with as well. Cerebral Desecration, great name. And this one's called Peel of the Rotten, which is a great name as well. Again, black and death. I presume, we've only heard one track, I must admit, this is what I'm going to presume. Black and death, high speed drumming, those kind of vocals like we just heard as well. I think these guys are a bit more brutal than the last guy was black, because he was black as a night. Yeah. Yeah. They've had quite similar guitar tones today, but they've all had that great modern death metal tone, little bit bubbly, little bit grindy, tight, very loud, sounds great with the riffs that you play in this kind of music. Dope. Big washy cymbals, again the double kick isn't ruining the mix when it's blazing. Sounds good. Yeah, these guys are a bit more brutal, they've got that blackened edge to them, but they've also got that Phosgene brutalness to them and pummeling you down as well. Dope. Well, these three bands today, as I say, if you want to listen to some hard and heavy and fast, a bit black, something that's going to pummel you down and give you that energy, you whack on these three bands. That's why I put these three bands together, because I just knew this was going to be the right day all day. If you like this kind of music, you've got three bands here that are just killer. Dope. Nice amount of blackness to this one. I'd definitely still call these guys black and death. I would say brutal death. Let's put them brutal black and death if you wanted to be very specific. But it's nice, I think, that we've had a very brutal death band, a very black death band, and then a kind of a mixture between the two. Dope. Shows you the spectrum of how much of each genre you can bring into the music, how much you can dial up the brutality. how much you can dial up the blackness and the atmosphere instead. That's what this channel's all about. Putting these kind of bands next to each other, back to back, showing them off, and just showing all the different spectrums of the music and what you can do with the sounds. And they've all been dope. And again, I'm not sure how many guys are in this band, but I know that they do it all themselves again, mixing it all themselves, recording it all themselves. It's got a great sound. You know, it's got that underground sound to it still. It's got that kind of, you know, we've done it ourselves sound, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way, because it's got their own sound to it. It doesn't sound like a classic studio mix where everything's just been perfected in the mix to where it sounds boring. That's why I like the underground, because it's all the little foibles and stuff that go on in the music, and the mix sounds kind of a bit homemade, or all those kind of little nuances that you don't get in studio music. Those are the things that catch my ear. Those are the things that I find interesting. Those are the things that separate this band from that band. So they haven't all got that super polished sound, studio sound. Got a rawness to them. Got a kind of, you know, homemade, mama's homemade apple pie. Tastes the best. Tastes way better than a McDonald's apple pie. That's what I'm talking about. Underground bands, bands that do it themselves, bands that are working them out. Oh, I thought that was the end of the track, so I was going to just start talking. Not that I haven't been talking all the way through. Yeah, these guys are brutal, they're black, they're death. They're brutal, black, death. You know? BBD. But as I was saying, I'll just finish up what I was saying. The reason I like underground bands, the reason I'm checking out underground bands, I'm not checking out Slipknot and like mainstream bands that everyone's listening to kind of on Metal Hammer and Kerrang and all of that. It's because these bands have just got a good sound. They've got that original sound that you don't hear from studio albums or from, you know, albums that you've spent a lot of money making and all of that. It's that rawness, it's that homemadeness, it's that kind of, yeah, not everything's perfect, but it's good because it's not all perfect. If everything was all perfect all the time, it's boring as hell. Yeah, that's what I like about, that's what I'm doing underground bands, as I say, because it's the underground is where you get all these little nuances and things that are different from one another, and catch your ear and kind of go, oh, that was interesting. In a good way, not in a bad way, not like, oh, you know, they just sound amateur and stuff like that. Not too many bands sound amateur nowadays because the mix is there and the computers do a lot of the mix for you nowadays. It's hard to have a real crappy mix, and the ones that are actually really crappy, the people have usually purposely intended them to make them sound that bad, you know, black metal stuff and things like that. They've gone out of their way to make it sound bad, because otherwise you just dump guitars and bass and drums and vocals into any DAW and mess about with the volume a little bit, and it's going to sound all right, you know. So, but just in a roundabout point, the reason I like these underground bands, one-man bands, guys who mix their own music and have their own vision, is because they don't sound like anyone else. They've got their own unique sound, unique mix, unique ear. That, you know, it's their ear that's done it, and it's not some guy who's paid thousands of dollars in a studio who's mixed hundreds of albums that sound like that. Every bass he approaches the same way. Every guitar he approaches the same way. He does the same thing to the vocal every single time. So all his mixes have got that kind of sound. Might be a very nice, high, you know, quality professional sound, but every band that he's done has got a similar sound. And that's why I like guys who are doing it themselves, because it's unique, it's individual, it's personal. I think I've gone on enough, as I do sometimes. But I'm passionate about this. This is a subject I'm passionate about. I really love these one-man bands who are doing it themselves, or just a couple of guys who are doing it themselves, and people who are sharing music over the internet. Gets my, I love it. I think it's going to be the future of music, as I've said before. But anyway, gone on enough. We've got some mathcore for you tomorrow. It's going to be crazy mathcore as well, like the real kind of holy shit, what's going on mathcore. So watch out for that. It's going to be a bit too much for some people, I'd say. But if you've got an open mind, if you like heavy and crazy music, you're going to absolutely love it. Badass it is as well. Pretty much as badass as we had today. Oh, and I forgot to do it as well.
Superb.
Just remembered right at the end of the vid to give it a superb. I've set up all these new things and I keep forgetting to use them. I had a bunch of other stuff set up before I did this one. And I get into talking about the music, I get into listening to the music, and I keep forgetting to do all the stupid stuff that I've set up for the screen, making my camera wobble because I'm kneeing the table. Look, we've gone off the rails a bit on this video, but I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. I'll keep it all in. See you tomorrow, guys, for some mathcore. Bye.